I love architecture and I'm an architectural photographer. So when a sustainable building, an accessible building and an art-worthy building such as the Kielder Observatory here in Northumberland is so accessible, I had to come and photograph it. The building was designed by the architectural company Charles Barclay back in 2005 and it was completed in 2008. And it's no wonder when you look at it that it's won so many major awards from the likes of REBA and the Civic Trust. It's designed to be fully self-sustainable and it runs from wind and solar power. It stands in the Kielder Forest and it's the centrepiece for the Northumberland Dark Skies Park. And Kielder Observatory regularly holds events from novices to professional astronomers. And if you'd like to come and visit, all you need to do is go onto the website. I'll leave a link below. It's kielderobservatory.org. And you can find a calendar there of all the different events they have on, and they have loads throughout the month. So whether you're a novice astronomer or a professional, you can come onto the website, check out the diary and see what events are available. It's a great experience to do, and obviously it's a nighttime event, so everything's closed up at the moment. But when those turrets are open, there's some equipment in there that will open the heavens to everyone. Kielder Observatory was the first observatory to be built on a land pier system. So as you can see, the actual observatory sits on what looks like a pier and it stretches out and it reaches into Kielder Forest like a ship's prow. And in the distance you can see Kielder water. The building itself is a purely timber construction, and considering that in the Kielder Forest this building is subjected to some of the harshest weather that the UK ever sees, I think it stood up really well. It's 17 years old at the moment. Now the interesting thing is, on this side of the observatory you can see, there's actually it's a soft looking lichen that's actually covering a lot of the timbers, which just really adds to its appeal and adds to its natural environment that it sits in. The main building, as you can see, has two observation turrets. The first turret is the Sir Patrick Moore Observatory, and the second turret is the Caroline Herschel Observatory. Now both the turrets hold a permanent telescope each. There's also an open air viewing platform that they can actually attach two further telescopes for observing the night skies. Separate from the main building is a smaller building with a rollback roof, and that's called the Gillian Dickinson Astro Imaging Academy. Now there's two telescopes within that building, and that's purely for astrophotography purposes. Absolutely, get yourself onto the Kielder Observatory website, see what's available, see what's going on, and come and take a visit. Whether you're coming to look at the architecture of the building itself, or actually like I'm doing this evening, I'm going to actually go and learn a bit about astrophotography. So everyone can learn something from here. I love the concept and I'm really looking forward to my lesson this evening. Photography wise, for this shoot I am using my Fujifilm GFX100s, and I'm also using a new lens I picked up, and that's the Fujifilm 30mm tilt shift lens. And what I'm doing while I'm here, I'm trying to find different angles, perspectives to take to capture the building in its best light. Now today is it's a bit bright, to be honest, and first thing this morning it was absolute blowing a hoolie, so that was not ideal for taking photos, architectural photos of the observatory. So I left it for a bit later in the day, after midday, and came here to get some shots. And then I've also arranged with the observatory staff to come back this evening before the event that I'm actually attending, the astrophotography event. I actually can come here a bit earlier and get some more shots while the observatory, hopefully while the observatory is open and before all the people turn up, so that we can get some shots of what the turrets would look like when they're open with the telescopes out. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm loving this space. You know, the The construction is a timber construction, but there's so much life and character to it that I'm in awe, and I'm loving spending time here. I'm loving finding angles to take the images of. And so I'll put some of these images up, obviously, and let me know what you think. Are you into architectural photography, or are you into astrophotography, or just astronomy in general? And would you like to visit the Kielder Observatory? I thoroughly recommend coming here. It's a stunning location. We're in the middle of Kielder Forest, and you know, this is the centerpiece of the Northumberland Dark Skies Park. I'm pretty much done for my photos for the daytime. I'm going to go now and grab a coffee, and then I will head back up here when the staff arrive to open the gates for us again. And let's see what we can get evening wise. It'd be nice if we get clearish skies that I can perhaps chuck in some star trails as well. But we shall see what we get. It is a case of see what happens on the day. I've had to book a day to come here, so we may not get ideal conditions, but we shall see. But that's what happens when you come to just do a personal project. You eventually have to just pull the pin and go and say, right, I'm coming on this day. You know, if I'd have booked yesterday, you know, last week the forecast was saying fine, and I arrived in an absolute storm to my hotel. The windows were getting battered by the wind, and the rain was just hammering the hotel all night. So yesterday would have been a really bad idea. But you know, that's what I'm saying. If you're doing a personal project, and you know, this is 5 hours away from where I live, so you kind of have to just take the plunge really, and see what happens when it's a personal project, because you can't come back that often. It is quite a distance to book into and get on with, and you know, I've got work to do as well with clients, so this is a personal project, and let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'm loving the location, I'm loving the building, and we'll see how we go from there. Now after this, you know, this wasn't just I'm coming up to Northumberland, then I'm going back down south home again. I'm actually going from here, I'm going up to Glasgow to photograph a bridge, and you know, I love bridges, as you can see from this video that I'll link to here. So it's a new bridge, so I'm going to go and photograph that as well. There's a couple of other buildings that I want to get photographs of. There's an Art Deco building that's still standing, looking quite original, I believe. So I'm going to go and get that as well. So a couple of days in Glasgow as well. But for now, I'm going to go and get a coffee, and I'm going to come back later when the staff arrive again to try and get some evening shots. And then if the skies hold out and they stay nice for us, let's see if we can't get some star trails as well. Right, catch you later. Bye.